I'm going to have Mr. Rivera tell his story. Hector, are you out there with us?
Yes, sir, I am, Brother Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Hector Rivera from Pennsylvania. Hector, have you had a chance to see the video that Third Rail posted?
Yes, I've seen the video.
Well, I want to ask you a couple of questions, Hector, and then I'm going to allow you to go into your statement, even though you don't have to prove anything to anyone. But at this point, people need to understand how Third Rail dementedly twisted the story, and he dementedly tried to sit there and maliciously and viciously attack TWS with his video. You know, that guy must be hurting so bad that he is reaching for straws. He's got his one little video he's put up of me cursing him out on the telephone. Let me tell you, so first of all, I say worse things to him than that on my radio show. I hope he gets a hard on by listening to it. But now that he can't find anything else to say about me, I guess he sits there and he tries to discredit the members. I want to clear this up, so when people take a look at the video, TWS leader led by Tyrone Bonds, a.k.a. Wington, guilty of drug sales. Why did Mr. Third Rail leave out the fact that it said with the intent to sell it? He didn't sell it. It was the intent. Evidently, somehow, you ended up having to be in a methadone program. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and a methadone is basically a narcotic that's issued by a doctor, and it's ordered by the state that you do this, that you take this particular medication to basically overcome what problem you have, right?
Yes. Methadone is nothing but liquid heroin. What it's supposed to do is keep you from having cravings of doing the actual heroin itself. I was on a low dose. I was on 50 milligrams, so I could function regularly like any other person in society.
Okay. And on this particular day that you were arrested, did your doctor do anything? I mean, tell me what happened that day when you went to the doctor and how your day began.
Well, when I went to the doctors, I got my dose, and he also gave me a prescription for some psycho meds for depression, for anxiety, for my ADHD, and a host of other things. He gave me a fresh prescription. I went to the drugstore, got the medication out. I come out, I mingle along with some friends, and then that's when the strike force jumps out.
Okay, now the strike force jumps out, and they do what?
They pat everybody down. They empty everybody's pockets. And mind you, everybody's not an angel at these programs. You know,
What did you just say? What did you just say about the angels?
No, not about the angels. The people. The people in the program, they're not all angels. You know, they're not perfect.
Okay, I understand.
They tend to mix the liquid heroin with other pills to get them high, because the liquid heroin is a blocker. So if you was to go use more heroin, you wouldn't feel it. So they found a way of how to get high while on methadone.
Okay, so how did the police end up snatching you off the street, Hector?
Well, they seen me coming out the pharmacy, and I was talking amongst a group of people, and when they jumped out, they threw us all up against the wall. So when they went through our pockets, they seen bottles of pills of my prescription with my name on it, and they took me in.
So they assumed that you were going to sit there and sell the pills just because you were with an unsavory crowd as you were walking up the street, and everybody came from this particular pharmacy.
Exactly.
Okay, let me ask you a question. At any time were you trying to sell any drugs to a minor?
Oh, hell no. Even there were times when I had free time from the Guardian Angels because of lack of leadership, and there wasn't nothing else to do but to go hang in the street. And when I did, it wasn't not to no minors and not to women that were pregnant.
Well, let me ask you a question. Now, you get arrested, and how long do you go to jail for?
I did 6 months.
You get arrested, you do your 6 months, you serve your time, you paid your debts to society. And I understand you also went cold turkey and you totally kicked this methadone thing and the whole nine. You just turned your life around. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. I had motivations of doing that because my youngest sister is pregnant and she's due the week of July 12th, and I want to go to Atlanta. So if you're on methadone, you got to get permission from the state. And if they say no, then you can't leave the state because you have to take your medication every day. So what I did, I talked to the doctor. I told him, look, I know you're a hustler. All you want is the money for my insurance. I'm a hustler too, so I know what you're doing. So I'm not with it. So the supervisor of my counselor, she writes me up for being insubordinate with the doctor. And when she did that, I signed the paper, walked out, and never came back. And it's been since, February? I kicked, and I haven't been on it since.
So now, here it is since February. February 2010, you haven't taken anything. You've been sitting there walking the straight and narrow. And here it is in October of 2010, you give the Archangels a call. You call me and you say, hey, Wayne, I've seen what you've been doing. And you said, I'm interested in finding out more about your group and maybe even trying to do something here in Philadelphia. And I say to you, Baby T, I'm familiar with you. I remember I met you at the 30th anniversary, and I've heard of you through the years. I said also, it's a new group. We're doing our thing. I tell you that nobody's perfect, but I tell you I believe everybody deserves a second chance. And at that point, you said to me, let me be honest with you about my life and what's been going on. And basically, you told me the same story that you just told the whole world right now on the radio. Basically how you were having a troublesome time, you were on medication, basically you got arrested being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you went to jail. You said to me, I've changed my life, and I do believe that if you allow me to come and become a part of TWS, I can do something great for my community because I truly love what I used to do as an angel, but now I'm ready to try to do it again, and I'm a truly changed person. But I need a chance. And I said to you, you know what, Hector, I appreciate you being honest with me because I realized that one day Third Rail may try to throw this in my face. And today I want to thank you very much for being very honest about, what you went through. And believe me, brother, I know it's a struggle to be out there. And mind you, it's guys just like you, believe it or not, that will make a difference throughout TWS. And I'll tell you why. Because you've been on the street sector, like I told you, because you've been in trouble, you know what it's like to see it come. And you can deliver that same message to a young kid that doesn't understand. And because you took in the time to change your life around and lay down everything that you thought that would change you or change your personality from something that it shouldn't be. I mean, I hear that when people are on heroin and they're doing their thing, they're shooting up that needle is one thing. And they go on the methadone, it's another thing. And people talk about the monkey on their back. But I understand when you kick and go cold turkey, it's more like a gorilla. And I understand that people that go through that and really choose to decide to change their life that way, they pay a price. Now, I don't think nobody can judge you but God. Now, I wasn't there when you got arrested, but I damn sure know that you weren't selling to a minor. I believe your issues about getting caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. And, if you look dirty, and sometimes they say if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, odds are there's probably a duck. But my issue is how Third Rail would twist all of the details. If you were in TWS and you were strung out on heroin, the first thing we would do is try to help you out. Before we send you out, we try to help you out. We try to make sure we did everything we could to change what you were going through. Because the blind can't lead the blind. But now that you're clean, like I said, yeah, but when you got clean, there was a new man born. Your brain was different. Your thinking was different, you know. And mind you, there's so many people throughout the world that have been strung out. Let's even look at Bill Clinton talking about he told it, but he didn't inhale. You know, here it is. I mean, if Bill could fall by the wayside, why not Hector Rivera? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Why not Hector Rivera? But why twist it to the point where you have to, you know, insinuate different things to try to make people think the worst of the man? You know, you're honest enough and brave enough to stand up, Hector, before the world and say, yes, this is what I've done. This is the change I've made. TWS has given me a chance to show that I can be better, that I can still give to my community. What are we going to do, throw you away in the trash and say that his experience is useless now? Actually, it's even more valuable than ever now because he's been there. He's walked that road. And we definitely have to sit there and think about the fact that, you know, it takes a true man to stand up and talk about the things that he's been through. With a guy like Third Rail, he can't do that. He can't come on the radio show and talk about his faults. You know why? Because he's blind to them. You listen to Third Rail, you think he got a rose with thorns growing out of Curtis's ass right into his mouth. And, I mean, it's a damn shame that he has to sit there and try to go through my archangels and find ways to shred them into anything he can think of. You know, do like I do, Third. Find some truth in what you need to talk about. Try to keep it based on the facts, because I know I do. When I call you an asshole, it's a fact. I mean, I'm not pulling no punches with that one. I'm calling it as it is. America, this will be a show that I think you should send to your friends. Don't forget to look at the video and check out how Third Rail twisted it. But this is Wing Chung, a.k.a. Shion Khalil of the TWS Archangels, saying that don't believe anything you hear and only part of what you see, because sometimes your own eyes can deceive you. Peace.